Central Minnesota Sports Hub. It's the Morning Sports Desk, presented by Wadena's Pizza Ranch and FunZone Arcade. Available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts, and streaming on YouTube.
Powered by Pizza Ranch and FunZone Arcade in Wadena. It is the Morning Sports Desk. I'm CJ Baumgartner. There's Corey Tackman. A busy Friday on the 9th of May. We got a lot of local news to talk about, so why don't we just jump right in? We have a couple games on the broadcast schedule this afternoon. One over in Staples-Motley, a good old rivalry game in softball.
Yeah, it's going to be a really nice game, not only because of the rivalry, CJ, but also because of where these two teams kind of sit as far as their records and standings and rankings and all of that. Staples-Motley Cardinals softball will host the Pillager Huskies. The Cardinals are 7-9 on the year. They have a QRF rating of 36.1, of course, out of the Heart of Lakes Conference and representing Section 6 AA. Which we'll get to in just a moment. The Cardinals are winners of 3 of their last 5 and are right in the middle of the Heart of Lakes Conference standings with that 5-6 record. Holly is 10-1, DGF is 10-2. Then it's Park Rapids area, Breckenridge, and then Staples, Motley, and Frazier each tied at 5-6. The Pillager Huskies are 6-9 overall with a QRF rating of 38.4. They're losers of 4 straight, but had won 5 straight leading into that losing streak. As a matter of fact, CJ, a season of streaks for the Pillager Huskies. They started off with a win, but then lost 5 straight. Followed it up by winning 5 straight and have now lost 4 straight again. And we're not that far really away from the end of the season. After this afternoon's game, Staples-Motley on the regular season will have just 3 games, at least according to Minnesota Scores, left in the regular season schedule. Pillager will only have 4 games left on the regular season schedule. Again, that's according to Minnesota Scores. I don't know how updated they are as far as rainouts and postponements and things like that. Pillager is in the bottom half of the PRC. Monaga is the top team there at 12-2. Wadena Deer Creek 10-2. New York Mills 10-4, all in double-digit wins. Then Parker's Prairie, Sabik, and Pillager at that 5-9 Park Region Conference record. But what's important now when you look at the standings and the seedings and all that stuff is, and how many games are left, we're starting to look at those section standings. Both teams in Section 6 AA. The top team there is Melrose area. The Dutchmen are 12-3 overall. They're undefeated in section play, 5-0. With a QRF value of 86.6. They're ranked 5th in Class 2A softball. Right behind them is St. Cloud Cathedral with an 85.3 value. They're ranked 7th in AA softball. And then you move down, it's Kimball area 3rd, Piers 4th, Painesville area 5th, Foley is 6th, Pequot Lakes 7, Malacca 8, Eden Valley Watkins 9, and then there's your Pillager Huskies at 10, followed immediately by Staples-Motley with the, again, 38.4 to 36.1 QRF value, a 78 to 82nd rank in the class. To round out the section there really quickly, Holdingford, Albany, Sauk Center, Osakis, and Royalton. So this is an important game not only for pride and for rivalry reasons and what have you, but also because this will absolutely matter as far as some section seedings and whoever wins this one is going to end up probably in front of the other one as far as those section seedings go. And when you're talking about a handful of games or fewer in this regular season, these section games become particularly important.
Yeah, very, very important at this point in the season. And once again, that game having the first pitch moved up just a little bit early too today.
Yeah, it's now 3:45 pregame with the 4 o'clock first pitch. Things moved up a half an hour at the Staples-Motley Athletic Complex in the softball fields there. AM1430 and 98.5 FM, The Fan, this afternoon.
The Fan. Moving things over to the Superstation K106, 105.9 FM, also streaming online at WDC and the Superstation K106 mobile app. Little non-conference, non-section softball this afternoon. It's got a 4:15 pregame, a 4:30 first pitch for Pequot Lakes at Wadena Deer Creek. Looking at the tail of the tape between these two teams, Wadena Deer Creek is entering into this one with a 7-game winning streak as they are second place, like you just mentioned, in the Park Region Conference as they get ready to take on Pequot Lakes here this afternoon. They also next week have 4 games going on Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday to wrap up their regular season next week for the Wolverines. But right now, looking at today's game for Wadena Deer Creek, they take on a Pequot Lakes Patriots team that is in the Granite Ridge Conference. And in that conference right now, that you have the likes of Cathedral, Pierce, Foley, Pequot Lakes, Malacca, Albany, Little Falls, and that's kind of the order things go in. Cathedral's 11-0, Pierce 6-3, Foley 6-4, Pequot Lakes 4-5, Malacca 3-6, Albany 2-6, 1-9 for the Flyers of Little Falls. And that's the conference standings there for Pequot Lakes. Looking at the Patriots so far this season, they are 2-2 in their last 4 games. They got a sweep in a doubleheader against Little Falls and then lost to Pierce, lost to Malacca. They've also got some wins over Foley. They got a win over Sauk Center, Pine River Bacchus as well. They've had some losses throughout the season to teams like Nevis, St. Cloud Cathedral, obviously Malacca in there, DGF, East Grand, Piers all mixed in there as well. And this is a team that's in Pequot Lakes looking to get things off on the right foot. But if you want to talk about how well Wadena Deer Creek is playing in this recent stretch, Corey, not only have they won 7 games in a row, but I'm going to tell you the runs that they've produced in those games. 7, 14, 10, 3, 11, 9, and 18.
That's a lot.
It's a lot. How many runs have they allowed in their last 5 games? In their last 7 games, rather? They've 5. 5 runs in their last 7 games.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Pretty darn good for Wadena Deer Creek. Talking with Coach Umlin, they feel like they found their defensive rotations. They feel like their offense is getting in sync. Obviously, when you have Montana Karsten and Jenna Dykoff as kind of your 1-2 punch in the circle, you're able to do pretty well with the experience that those two have, and they feel like they're ready to go coming into the section race here. And looking at things for Wadena Deer Creek, they currently in Section 8AA, it's very competitive at the top. They are the 5th seed right now in Section 8-2A with the QRF of 70.7. Roseau is ahead of them with the 75.4 QRF. Monaga 78.6. Holly 81.8. Dilworth, Glendon, Felton 83.6. And East Grand is behind Wadena Deer Creek in the 6th spot at 61.1. So there is some opportunity. Wadena Deer Creek will have, obviously, with Park Rapids area coming up next week. And they have, I believe, kind of looking at the Wolverines' schedule here to wrap up the season. They have Park Rapids area. DGF will be a big one. If they want to try and move up in the QRF, they're going to need to start stacking some wins here if they want to maybe get into that top 4 of the section. And also looking in Section 6AA for Pequot Lakes. Again, a very competitive section. They are ranked 7th with a 53 QRF. Melrose, St. Cloud Cathedral, Kimball area, Pierce, Painesville area, and Foley are all ahead of them. Malacca firmly behind them with a 39.6 QRF in that Section 6AA standing. So, all right, that's once again 4:15 pregame, 4:30 first pitch from the Wadena Deer Creek Softball Complex just off Highway 29 in Wadena. Corey, should be a fun one. We got a couple other things locally to talk about here because there's been a lot of achievements here happening. First, let's start off sticking on the diamond in Parker's Prairie baseball. Yesterday, not only did the Panthers get some victories against Frazee, but they also got a milestone in there with a 2 RBI single for Nolan Steidel. He was able to get RBIs career number 79 and 80, surpassing the 79 career RBI record that was held by Travis Yonke from 2016 to 2019. So anytime you can make a record in Parker's Prairie baseball history, it's probably good, especially when you can do it kind of in the recent history where they've had some runs of really good baseball.
Yeah, Nolan's an awesome baseball player, and that is a complete indication of how often he's just putting the bat on the ball, and he's had some unbelievable teammates, much like Travis did on those state tournament runs for Parker's Prairie in those years, with some unbelievable ball players also getting on base in front of them. Like you're not getting RBIs without teammates getting on base, but you're not getting RBIs without putting the bat on the ball. And to have those two things kind of come together, those are ridiculous numbers. That RBI count, that is
RBIs.
That's a ridiculous career number, and there's still 2 weeks left in the season, and I would imagine the Panthers expect to make a little push here in their section tournament as well. There's going to be more. Nolan's going to stack them up a little higher, and that record is going to be a tough record to chase down.
Mm-hmm. Up until like 4 years from now, when there's another Parker's Prairie kid pushing the baseball all around the yard.
I said that about Travis too, in case anyone's wondering.
Records are meant to be broken. That's the fun part of keeping track of them.
No doubt.
So congratulations to him. Let's go from there and let's go to the track, or maybe the field, I guess, for talking about a former Wadena Deer Creek track and field athlete who's doing some really, really cool things. Cooper Folkestad continuing to dominate at Concordia in Moorhead for track and field.
So you have the information in front of you. I can't remember exactly everything that Cooper has accomplished this year, but I guess to put it quite frankly, Cooper is like dominating the conference. He is setting school records. He is just like, when we talked about it with Nolan, setting the bar at kind of a brand new level. Not only is Cooper like breaking records, he's breaking his own records as the year goes along. He's just having an unbelievable year slinging that shot put around for the Cobbers this season. And do you know Cooper at all?
No, I don't.
Cooper is like, he's awesome. I don't know any other way to say it. He's just an awesome kid. And just really, I'm just so happy that he like found his niche with this track and field stuff and is crushing people, because he was always big and athletic and strong and powerful. And it's fun to see it come together for him, you know?
Mm-hmm. Here's according to the press release put out by Concordia Moorhead. Concordia's first home meet since 2019, this is from a week ago, turned into another episode of Mr. Cooper's World, a week after breaking the 29-year-old school record in the discus and 2 weeks removed from busting up the quote-unquote unbreakable Cobber record in the shot put. Cooper Folkestad went into rarefied air in the shot put. Folkestad was one of 13 individual event winners at the Cobber Open, and he crossed over the 61-foot mark in the shot put. He came up with a head-shaking distance of 61:01.25 on his second attempt of the prelims and won the event, Corey, by over 10 feet.
Yeah, that's good. 10 feet. That's more than a basketball hoop, if you're wondering.
How good is the distance? Well, it's the number one mark in Division III this year and would be the number 2 in all of Division II and in the top 50 of Division I.
Mm-hmm.
That's good.
Yeah, no, Cooper's he's legitimately for real in the mix for like a national championship.
Folkestad also pulled off a double win by claiming the title in the discus. He only recorded a distance of 164.02 in the event, which is number 1 in the MIAC, but is 8 feet shy of his school record of 172.05, which he posted at the Drake Relays in Iowa. Normally freshman Tommy Schreiner would have been on the top headline of the meet, but he happens to be on the same team as Folkestad. And then they talk about a couple other people in the event here. And next up for Cooper Folkestad record-breaking tour is the MIAC Championship meet, which is going on today and tomorrow at McAllister.
Nice.
So, yeah, jeez. My goodness.
Yeah, it's awesome. Good job, buddy.
Good job. All right, Corey, you know who does a good job each and every day? The Pizza Ranch and FunZone Arcade in Wadena.
So obviously it's it's like Mother's Day weekend, and maybe a great place to bring mom on a Saturday as you're preparing for your Sunday Mother's Day festivities. Turn it into a full weekend by bringing mom to Pizza Ranch. But Pizza Ranch is not only like they've got specials during the week, right? Like on Wednesdays is double points at the Pizza Ranch when you use your ranch rewards card. They do wings on Thursdays. Lots of different specials, lots of different delicious foods while you are there. An unbelievable strawberry spinach salad that shows up in the buffet. Earn your double points. Go on Thursdays for your wing night. If wings are your thing, of course, pizza is your thing. That's why you're going to a place called the Pizza Ranch, and they have delicious pizza all day, pretty much every day. So you're going to want to check that out. And what a beautiful weekend to take advantage of and use the FunZone arcade as well. And we've talked about that new Star Wars game where you can collect cards. A Star Wars coin pusher is what it is. I don't have enough good things to say about the Pizza Ranch and how much like we enjoy going as a family, because there's something literally for every single one of us in the buffet that we can eat. There's great games to be played in the FunZone arcade that all three of my boys love, but also like I can play too and like have a good time and not just do it to appease my children. You know what I mean? And then Zach has just been obviously awesome to work with from our perspective here at the Morning Sports Desk. I just love having the Pizza Ranch and FunZone arcade on board with the Morning Sports Desk. And as a thank you, make sure you go check them out. Have a little lunch, have a little supper, stop in, see them, order for delivery, order for takeout. Pizza Ranch and FunZone arcade is going to hook you up.
Remember when Pizza Ranch and FunZone arcade in Wadena gave us a jersey to give away?
Yeah, Wade Boggs.
Autographed.
Signed Wade Boggs jersey.
Cool.
Bonafide Hall of Famer Wade Boggs.
They're so cool over there. You could go win that at the FunZone arcade too, or a jersey like it. It's a mystery box that's part of the fun in all four pro sports. Basketball, baseball, hockey, football. Go check it out. Pizza Ranch, FunZone arcade in Wadena. It's the place to be. All right, Corey, the place to be apparently this week is Target Field. The Twins have won 3 games in a row on their homestand so far, 5 in a row overall. They haven't lost since Friday. It's been a whole week without a Twins loss. It feels pretty good. The Twins got 2 victories in Boston, then a sweep over the Baltimore Orioles. They are now 18-20 on the season. We talked about the standings yesterday. But, looking at this team, it's just been more fun to watch. And, again, not to rehash yesterday's discussion, but Byron Buxton is playing really, really well right now. I don't know how long this heater is going to last. I don't know if an injury is going to come through. I don't know if he's been a peaks and valleys kind of player. But when Byron Buxton's right, man, there's very few players who are more fun to watch than that guy.
Well, it is an all-encompassing kind of ability from him, right? Like he's mashing the baseball right now, but then it's also like just the stupid things that he does defensively. You talked about how going to see, like seeing him hit in person and how it's the cliche, like it just sounds different coming off of his bat. And then you hear him hit one and you're like, oh my gosh, it actually sounds different coming off the bat, which is really funny. I remember going one time, we were up the third baseline, high, and like we weren't in the upper, we were in the lower bowl, but it was up, like straight up from third base, kind of undercover. And the way the seats are, right, you're staring in towards home. So everything that's left field, center field is not even in your immediate periphery. Mm-hmm. And I remember, like there was a ball that was hit high into the air, kind of like deep shortstop. And I don't know how you are, but you like track the ball and then you look to see who's moving. And then you look back up at the ball and then and you like, that's just the progression, right? You find the ball, you find which defense is moving after it, go find the ball again. And then hopefully the play is made. And I remember this like pop-up deep shortstop happening and thinking to myself, someone's going to have to make a play here. Like, I don't know who it is. I don't know if it's shortstop. I don't know if it's left field. I don't know if it's Buxton in center, whatever. And I'm sure you can guess the punchline. You track the ball up, you look where the defenders are, you look back up at the ball, and then when I look down, Buxton is just standing underneath it.
Just like I got it.
Just like a can of corn, when I was positive that somebody was going to have to dive for it, right? The shortstop was going to have to Willie Mays it. The left fielder was going to have to Superman. Buxton was going to have, it was like at least sprint through the ball to make the catch. Nope. He was just already parked underneath it in the time it take to check the ball, check him, check the ball, and look like it took 2 seconds. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
He is the stereotypical when they talk about 5-tool player. When he's right, he's not just a 5-tool player. He's a great 5-tool. He's great at all 5 tools.
Somebody pulled up the stat, I think on MLB Network. They said slugging percentage since 2022, only like 5 players in baseball are better than Byron Buxton. When you look at weighted runs created over the last like year or last 100 games or something like that, it's like him and Bobby Witt or something like that, or him and or Aaron Judge. I think like it's basically just this whole point of Byron Buxton's playing like one of the top players in the sport. It's really, really fun to see. But like you said, the defense has been huge. And yesterday he helped them out. I can't remember if it was the tie game still, or if it was a 1-run game. The Twins were losing 2-1, kind of in the middle, the later part of the game. And there's a base hit up the middle into center field, runner trying to go from second to home, and Buxton guns him down to end the inning. And Buxton's arm speed his arm strength, I should say, isn't like what it used to be. It's down a little bit this year, but still it's in a good percentile. It's not like elite arm anymore, but it's still very good arm. And he was able to throw him out by a step at home plate, keep the Twins in the game, get out of the jam. And then later in the game, Brooks Lee with a 2-run double, able to get the Twins in front. And then they go on to win by a score of 5-4, 5-3, or whatever it was. The Twins end up winning. And they get the sweep over the Orioles. And this is the thing, as fun as it is to watch Buxton on the heater, we all know that it's not, I mean, obviously he just can't keep up this pace all year long, every single game. But for whatever reason, whether he just goes down, whether there's an injury, whatever, it's just not sustainable over an 162 game marathon.
For anybody.
Right. You're going to need other players to step up. And over the last couple weeks, since that White Sox series began, on what was it, like Tuesday, the 22nd of April, the Twins have won 11 out of their last 16 games, and they've gotten offense from Harrison Bader, has led the team in batting average. Ryan Jeffers has gotten his game up. Carlos Correa's went from like nothing to just providing you something on offense. The entire team has stepped up in the stretch, and I want to pull up the stat because I'm working on a piece for zone coverage that should be out, either if it's not out already, it's coming out sometime later this morning. Talking about how the team is stepping up along with Buxton to try and create some of these things. But Harrison Bader has a 342 batting average over his last 15 games. Trevor Larnach has 3 home runs and 11 RBI, which only Byron Buxton has more in that stretch. Buxton has like 18 RBI and 5 home runs in the stretch. Brooks Lee, Ryan Jeffers, Carlos Correa, all helping out. The only player with a negative WAR over the last 3 weeks is Jonah Bride. And who cares? Like, that guy's sitting on the bench because everybody's healthy and playing. So like, who can, like, the whole point is everybody on this offense is being productive right now.
Well, and like, even to be fair to Jonah, like, somebody's got to be the worst.
Right. He's somebody's got to be number 26 on the 26-man roster.
Yeah, so no offense, buddy. I mean, it just happens to be him that this
he's the worst hitter. It's fine. Like,
he's supposed to be the worst hitter. Like, that's one of the reasons he's on the team.
Right.
Like, you're on this team because we just need you to like fill in some spots and just like, he knows what his role is. I'm sure he wished he wasn't. But like, there's no like, you can't be mad at that guy.
Right.
What the problem comes with the Twins when they have these stretch bad runs is like Jonah Bride is carrying the team right now. That's not going to be good when that's the case.
Right. And by the way, looking at the Twins here and their offense right now, the Twins pitching staff altogether has a 3.48 team ERA, earned run average over 9 innings. That's top 8 in baseball. And it's anchored the unit with the starting rotation, which is a 3.46 ERA, which is 7th best in baseball. The Twins lineup, on the other hand, has averaged 3.97 runs per game, which is 20th in baseball and well below the league average of 4.34 runs per game. But the point is, even if the Twins have a league average offense that's scoring about 4 runs a game, while you're, 4.5 runs a game, while your starting staff gives up 3.5 runs a game. I'm no mathematician, but even just having a Met offense, you're going to win a lot of games.
Correct.
like
Yeah.
It's not like the Twins are going to have to score a lot because the pitching staff's been bad. The pitching staff has kind of been holding them together. And when the offense gives them even just a little bit of breathing room, by the way, another scoreless effort yesterday by the bullpen, pitching 4 innings yesterday. So like, it just is, I'm not saying this Twins team is like going to win 90 games, but it's like, you can see them start to come together what people thought this team could be coming into the season. So they got to keep it up. They're playing a San Francisco Giants team this weekend. That's good. But after that, you have the Baltimore Orioles again. You have the Milwaukee Brewers, who are about 500 on the year. And then you get another crack at Cleveland. You get another crack at Kansas City. Tampa Bay has been meh this year. And you kind of get that to close out the month. Over the next few weeks, the Twins have an opportunity, again, not to rattle off like 15 in a row, but if they can just keep winning series throughout the month, all of a sudden they're right in the thick of things in the division.
We talk about it all the time. If you approach the game of baseball like football does and just win your week, you are going to be A-OK.
Twins have already clinched a winning week, by the way.
See, they did exactly what they needed to do. Just keep having winning weeks. And by the way, that means it's okay if you had a 7-game week to only go 4-3.
Right.
Because you are making progress.
4-3, 4-3, 4-3. All of a sudden, you're 5 games above 500. Like,
you're in the division,
right?
If you're 4-3 every week of the entire season, you're going to be 16 games over 500. That's an unbelievable record.
It's a
right?
pretty good spot.
Can I just? I have one thing I want to add about the Twins, and then another thing. They were on the other day, and I always like to talk about it when they're on TV because I just don't get to watch them that often.
It'd be nice to watch Twins baseball consistently.
And Pablo was on. Pablo was pitching, right? And it occurred to me. I don't know if this ever happens to you, but it happens to me. Like it especially happens in golf because there's this like general idea that. Like John Daly, I think, is what most people think about when they think about like what's the average golfer, right? You forget that like when Tiger's on, how much like how jacked that guy is, or you notice all of a sudden like Rory McIlroy is just like jacked. It occurred to me that Pablo Lopez is one of those guys.
Mm-hmm.
Like I just couldn't believe how unbelievably strong he looked. And it really occurred to me. You just think like all baseball uniforms are kind of frumpy anyway. You know what I mean?
Right. They're baggy. They're meant to be that way. Like
there was just a moment where the end of the inning, he was walking off the mound or whatever. And it just like, oh my gosh, of course he is. Of course he is. I shouldn't be surprised, but it always is surprising when you look at that guy and you're like, oh my gosh, that guy would win. He would knock me into next week if he punched me in the face.
Right. Well, and he's taller, so sometimes that ggets hidden away. And then, of course, the baseball uniform. And then, like, he's just so soft-spoken. Like, you hear him in recordings and stuff. And
he's like, I put way too much into this. I just want to be. He's got, like, a really small head and face, too.
It's very rounded. Like, it's very smooth. Yeah.
Fits kind of weird on the top of his body. And then his body is jacked. So it makes his head look even smaller. Anyway, I noticed that the other day. I hope that's not too weird. And then, the other thing I just found out, this is non-Twins related.
Yeah.
So I'm going to change the subject. If you.
Yeah, no, that's fine. That's fine.
Rumor has it that Bill Belichick's girlfriend has been banned from UNC football facilities.
No. UNC said she is still welcome at the facilities after the report.
I don't think she can be in though. I don't think she can like probably be there outside the front door waiting for her boyfriend.
She can be there, but she's like, there is a visitor. It's like when you go to a school to pick up your kids, like you're a visitor. You were like, you're there and you're expected, like, you don't just get free reign in the building. You go there to do your thing and leave.
Yeah. You're like a patron at a library now.
You go there to visit your old boyfriend, and then you go home. You bring him lunch. You go on a lunch. You go there to pick him up for a lunch date.
This is amazing.
You go there to pick them up for the early bird dinner at 4:30, and then you go
home, get him home in time for bed at 6.
Did you see that CBS News interview?
No,
where they like it was this big interview, Belichick's first big interview.
So, a week ago you're talking about?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Where she was like, where they're like, hey, how'd you guys meet? How was that? We're not talking about that. Oh, all right, cool. Well, if you wanted to make people question the sincerity of this relationship.
And he's in there in his cutoff sweatshirt, ripped, holy.
Bill Belichick actually was answering questions fine, by the way. Like the whole interview was fine until she started talking.
But he's in there in his ripped up hoodie. And all of a sudden, he just looked like an uncomfortable man in his 70s who didn't know what. It was very strange.
It was a very strange interview to the point where they're probably not going to do interviews again. Anyway, good job UNC football to get Mac Brown out of there. He was too old. Instead, you hire a guy 1 year older. Good job, North Carolina. Good job. That's going to work out just fine. All right. One other thing, since we're on the topic of baseball, the new Pope is a White Sox fan.
Not just a White Sox fan. He's a guy who wears a White Sox jersey to White Sox games.
There's a picture of him at the 05 World Series
in a White Sox jersey and cap. He's like a rube.
There's a good chance that guy was very annoyed watching Johan Santana.
I guarantee you the Pope hated the Piranhas. How funny is that?
The Pope looks on, it's like, man, I can't stand Nick Punto.
The Pope had to go to confession to be like, I irrationally cannot stand Luis Rivas.
I'm so sick of Jason Bartlett. Get him out of here. The good news is that Locust, the river is turning to blood in Green Bay. So that's always good.
Amazing. I cannot get over that the Pope is just like a normal guy from Chicago who likes the White Sox.
He's actually from Napersville. Now that's the running gag. It's like, he says he's from Chicago, but he's actually from Naperville.
From DeKalb.
Yeah, exactly. He's from, which by the way, I met somebody, I worked with somebody when I worked in TV who was from, he said all the time, it's like, yeah, I'm from Chicago. But then you talk to him, he's like, yeah, well, I agree. He grew up in a northern suburb of Chicago, but which I get it. It's like when you tell people where you're from around here.
I'm in Duluth, Minnesota. You don't know anything. I'm just going to tell you roughly Chicago. It's fine.
Right. Exactly. Whenever you mention to anybody where you live now, it's like, oh yeah, where are you from? Oh, I'm from Bertha. Where's that? Well, do you know what Wadena is? No. Do you know where Brainerd is? No. How about Alexandria? No. Do you know where St. Cloud is? Oh yeah. Well, it's really nowhere close to there, but yeah, kind of like there.
If you go there and drive another 2 hours, you can get there.
That's exactly how that conversation goes. So I understand. Anyway, this has led to just a great sports discourse with the Pope from Chicago, and also just being an American, which is just really funny.
It's stunning. When you hear him be interviewed or talk or what, even if it's old interviews, it's stunning to be like, and now here's a quote from the Pope. And he's just a guy that sounds like us. It doesn't quite make sense in my head.
It's not. It's gonna take. There's a learning curve here with this. The funniest thing I saw, which is this current Pope has definitely eaten more hot dogs than all of the other popes combined.
It's got to be true, right?
I mean, there's no way to prove that that's false. You think Pope Francis, you think Pope John Paul II was like, give me a glizzy for lunch today? No,
definitely not. Pope Benedict, definitely not.
Get to me some pasta.
It's just maybe, but also, are they doing hot dogs in Argentina?
Probably not.
I don't know. It's hard to say.
And that guy's from Chicago.
Yeah, Chicago. Go Chicago.
The Bears. Talk about the Bears once again winning the offseason.
Again, amazing. This is a guy who not that long ago would sit at his home after a Saturday night Catholic church service and deliver a homily and would turn on Chris Farley to do a Coach Ditka skit. That's so weird.
Mm-hmm.
I am very much not a Catholic person. So I'm just, but I don't know why. I do not like reality stuff at all. Every time there's been I've had 4 popes.
Yeah.
John Paul II, Benedict, Francis, now this guy.
Yep.
So, but I don't remember. I mean, so like Benedict, like, I don't know, this process has just kind of been really fascinating. And I'm still blown away by the fact that this guy just sounds like what he sounds like.
Uh-huh.
The least.
Father, the Son, and the Bears. Am I right? That's
Go Jesus.
oh, God, Jesus.
Oh, Mother Mary.
Oh yeah. You know, Jesus, he's got that holy defense. He's really gonna keep us going this year.
Can I tell you a thing I learned about churches?
Sure.
Kind of
in general or Catholic churches?
No, just churches superficially.
Okay.
If you know how like in every town there's like a First Lutheran,
Yep.
First Baptist, or a First whatever.
Yep.
Do you ever wonder where that came from? It is quite literally that in it, if you go to a town and it's called First Lutheran,
Yeah, it was just the first Lutheran church that was built there.
it was the first Lutheran church in that town. That's all it is.
Uh-huh.
There's just so many of them. You start to think like, oh, maybe that's just like that's just the like a name, or you know what I mean? Like there's a specific reasoning, like an official church reasoning behind. Nope, that's not it. It's called First Lutheran because it was the first Lutheran church built in that town. And the other one, that's Zion or St. John's or Emmanuel, that's the second one that was built in town.
In Bertha, they renamed it, but back in the day, it was the First Church of God because, that was the first Church of God that was built, and only, but so
right.
they can rename it because it's, whatever. But
right.
that was the first one that was put in that town.
Literally finders keepers for naming churches.
The good news is though, is that somebody said finally Rome will get good pizza. The Pope serving the body of Christ at Mass, and it's just a picture of a deep dish Chicago style pizza. Like it's gotta be. I mean, somebody said update the commercial at Big Ten, and when does the sweep and it goes through obviously Illinois, it just has the picture of the Vatican like pop up.
Is it a requirement for popes when they address large crowds they have to do the two-handed wave?
I'm not sure.
Are they taught that? Because when he got introduced out on that balcony, he tried the like just a normal person, hello, hi, everybody. Hands are right in front of him, like he's getting ready to sing Edelweiss in The Sound of Music. But then both hands appear, and it's just.
I think it's double wave. You can get more people at once, though.
Is that what it is? Yeah.
Maybe it's just a natural thing of like, hey.
It's just overwhelming. You're just overwhelmed.
It's been an overwhelming week for that guy.
Can I also say that the leading up to the new pope is so funny because everybody who's anybody who knows anything is like, no one ever wants to be the pope. I saw it described as bone-crushing pressure.
To lead the biggest church in planet Earth.
I understand that, but I think it's really funny that there is, I mean, it makes sense, right? You're talking about a group of people who are very humbled in their work and called to their work. It's not like necessarily an ambitious career professionally.
Right. To the point, again, you're not like campaigning for it. There's no campaigning process. Literally, Cardinals are locked in a room, phones divided. They have no connection to the outside world. They're locked in a room and they just pray until they come to a consensus. Like that's literally it.
I just love it. I just love that it's like, I just love that they're like, not a single person in this building wants this. No one wants this job.
They named an interim. Like obviously there's somebody who took over like just in the interim, and that guy was not they didn't put out the short list. There was no Adam Schefter like here's
anybody who wants to be the Pope should be not the person who's the Pope.
Exactly.
Like that is kind of that's if somebody's in there like you know what, I think I'd be a really great fit. You're automatically, you gotta know, dude.
Nope, you're out. There's a reason King David was a shepherd, kind of a deal. And they just went out and found somebody, and it's like you're it. Me? Yeah, exactly. That dude wanted it a little too much.
I love that this Pope paid tolls on I-90, on I-39 through Illinois. It makes me so happy.
I love that this Pope has an opinion on Caleb Williams. And this Pope is just invested if Ben Johnson is the guy. He does.
It's the coolest. Is the Pope going to throw out the freaking first pitch at the White Sox game next year?
He should, but the White Sox are the devil. So, maybe they're a cursed franchise and nothing good ever comes from them.
I've been to the Chicago White Sox stadium. There's a chance I have attended a baseball game
with the Pope.
Mm-hmm. I went to 3 games. The Pope could have been there.
By the way, this is the interesting part about this, and we'll talk Timberwolves soon. But
this is way more fun.
Imagine you're the Pope. You are in, you don't have, maybe you have an idea. Maybe God tells you hey, prepare, you're going to be the next. But again, nobody's jockeying for position. This dude is just going about his day, and he's at the diocese and the Vatican in Rome. Gives him a call and it's congratulations, God says you're the next Pope. You can't turn that down.
Yeah, remember how you didn't vote for yourself? Everyone else did. It's yours now.
It's the perfect encapsulation of I've just become important at work and it's ruining my life. Maybe not ruining my life, but that's a little strong. But all this is
I'm pickup now.
Mm-hmm.
I used to be able to drive my Buick Skylark to and fro the parsonage. Nope, not anymore. I'm in a Ram pickup truck.
Uh-huh.
Covered in ballistic glass.
It's fascinating. And
so cool.
You see, there was I don't know where this was. I don't know if it was a college lecture hall. It looked like it was a private university because of the building. It looked like kind of a church-ish building. But people were watching the coronation's not the right word, but the announcement of the new Pope. Yes. And everybody's just sitting there watching. It's probably just a college class. Hey, current events. We're going to watch this papacy announcement. And they announce the name and everybody's just kind of sitting there. And they're he is from Chicago. This will be the first American Pope. You see the crowd just go, oh, they start screaming. Yeah, you can see people are jumping up and down. And then all of a sudden, wait 5 seconds later, everybody's just going, USA, USA, USA.
We turned the papacy into the Olympics.
Hey, look, we're making everything in America now, including popes.
Amazing stuff. We're going to have to cut this entire conversation.
Oh, this is great.
Let's talk some Timberwolves, huh?
All right. Oh, man. Adding on top of the Twins winning 5 games in a row, adding on top of the papacy discourse, we get a Timberwolves win. And not only that, Corey, they basically just told the Golden State Warriors to go sit in the corner. We're winning this game today.
It was just a nice professional win. I as I was watching that game, I kept trying to think of, because I know that we're going to talk about it the next day, and I kept trying to think about what am I going to say? What's the thing about this game that I'm going to I don't know, that's too strong, but to be that I have to have a take on, that I have to point out, that I have to call out, that what is it? What's the thing? And the thing was that it was just a bunch of players doing their job and just taking care of the business and being professional and winning a game that they didn't need to win, per math. But
it wasn't obviously this wasn't a must-win game.
It felt important to bounce back from a really poor showing and miserable shooting for 2 games in a row. They shot 40%, 42% from 3 in that game, which is just a normal amount. And they won the game quite easily. Golden State is very down. I would ask the question like I did with the Lakers, are the Lakers going to score 120 points? Because that's what they were going to need, right, to beat the Timberwolves. And I would say that now about Golden State, especially with Steph. The Warriors play better defense than the Lakers do. That is for sure. But the Timberwolves defense is no slouch either. Is Golden State going to score 110 points? How are they going to score 110 points? I don't know how they're going to do it. It was just a good professional take care of your stuff.
They started out the game on a 13-0 run and held the Warriors to 5 points for the first 10 minutes of the game.
Yep.
They just set the tone right away. They came out guns blazing, but they didn't allow the defense to slouch. And even though there were times where I think the game got to 10 points midway through the third quarter. And this is the point where everybody starts to go, oh no, panic. And I was watching the game with my brother. And even then, because they it was within 15, I was it's fine. And then it got to within 13 and I was it's still fine. It got to within 10. I'm it's fine. And then it got to that point. He's is it still fine? I'm yes, because they're expunging all of this energy to get it within 10, and the Wolves are in a bad stretch of the game. The secret thing about basketball in the NBA is it's kind of like volleyball. It's just a game of runs. How big of a run can you go on, and how much can you mitigate the runs the other team goes on? And the Wolves, as soon as the Warriors got their little kick in, they went on an immediate run and got it back to a 20-point game, and they just coasted. And we got Luka Garza minutes yesterday.
It's funny too, because like it doesn't take. What did it get down to? What was the closest? Did it get down to 9?
Maybe, yeah, 9 or 8.
So like it gets down to single digits, and they go on this unbelievable run to get it there, right? Like just credit to them and whatever. But pretty much by accident, the Timberwolves score 2 buckets in a row, and maybe it's just 2 layups in a row, or I don't know the exact scenario. Just in general speaking, like Timberwolves get 2 baskets in a row, and it goes from single digits to like it feels insurmountable again. And all they did was add 4 points to it. Like you went through all of that effort to, when it's all said and done, to still be down by 12.
Mm-hmm.
Like, good job. That was an unbelievable run to go from 20 down. But by the time it's all over, 2.5 minutes later, 3.5 minutes, whatever the time frame, you're still down by 12.
Right. And people talked about, well, the Celtics and the Cavs both blew 20-plus point leads.
Of course.
Like, yeah, but the Pacers have Therese Halliburton, and the Celtics have Kat and Brunson and some of those guys. The Warriors have Draymond Green, who got a tech again and was yelling at the refs in ways that would get every other player on the floor a technical but him. And they had to literally take him to the locker room for 5 minutes to calm him down. Jimmy Butler didn't have a great game. Like, who necessarily on the Warriors was going to just go ballistic and pull them back in that game realistically?
Well, I'm trying to hindsight this a little bit too. I mean, they don't have their heat check guy anymore, right? In Steph. Like Steph is a guy who, like, you can look up and he just made 4 threes in a row and you're like, oh, we're losing. How'd that happen? So they don't have that. But I think you could argue in hindsight, like, Draymond had 18, I think, in game 1.
Yeah, he shot really well from 3 in this
5 threes.
Yeah.
4 threes, 5. Like, he shot really, really well. Is Draymond realistically going to do that again
in a 7-game series?
It doesn't really seem like it. Kuminga had 18 points last night and was like a dynamic. He was
a lot in the second half. Yeah.
He was a problem there for a while. So they've had their Draymond game. They've had their Kuminga game. Butler's been good in both of them. He had 17 points last night. He hasn't been like, let Jimmy Butler do Jimmy Butler things yet, but that you feel like that's gonna come. But like, who else? Who's it gonna be? I just don't know. I don't know how they're gonna score 110 points.
Right. Without Steph Curry, it's really tough.
It was
Steph Curry. It was no guarantee.
You go back to the Lakers series, and I don't want to keep looking back, but like the Timberwolves walloped them in game 1, right? They just shot like a stupid number, which is that's not going to happen again.
Like 50% from 3, yeah.
But from that point forward, like they had an unbelievable LeBron game or 3. They had really great Luka games. They had a game where those two and Reeves were good, and Rui had a game, and the Lakers lost every single one of those games.
Right.
So you're talking about a Golden State team that's going to need to have a Jimmy 30-plus point game, and Draymond's going to have to put 20 in, and Podziemski, Kuminga, Moody, Looney, like what do they
have to ask for?
Where's this coming from? They're going to have to do probably what the Lakers had to do and just like decide on who their 6 are and go with their 6. But they don't. How? This will be their 4th game in 8 days.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know where that's going to come from. They're going to start a fight. I do know that eventually.
It'll probably, if the Wolves, let's say, get up 2-1 or something like that, and they're leading in like game 4.
Yes.
Then that's where maybe you see it as like the frustration boils over and they're like, whatever. But yeah, I mean,
if the Wolves win game 3, like they won game 2,
mm-hmm.
game 4 is going to be a brawl.
Right. Because they could potentially be the last game at Golden, like in.
There's going to be 3 techs in that game. Like Rudy and DDV are each going to get one, and then whoever instigated for Golden State, Draymond, like
going to get one. Like
it's 100% like Game 4 is going to be a boxing match.
Exactly. And remember, the Wolves also like lost Game 2 in embarrassing fashion on the road, like the Warriors did, and they bounced back and won the next 3. So it doesn't necessarily mean the series is out of the woods yet.
No,
again,
not at all.
it's the there's just no Steph Curry. And depending on how long he's going to be out, and if the Warriors get down like 2-1, 3-1, like don't be surprised if he tries to push himself back onto the floor. But like, it just depends. These are hamstrings. These are not easy things to.
Even if he comes back, he is not going to be the same.
Right, exactly. He's not going to have the same movement on the floor.
And they're going to hunt him on defense.
Right.
Like, fine, man, you want to come out here and do your best.
Let's get Ant matched up on you, and he's going to take you to the cup.
We're switching to you every single time. Like, good luck.
Mm-hmm. So
he's out. He
could potentially miss this whole series.
Yes.
If you're the Wolves, you want to get up 3-1, take it back to Target Center, and basically have it be like, there's no point in bringing Steph back for this. Like, you want to have it to that point.
Hamstrings are a problem. That's a problem.
You want it to be where like there is no advantageous position for Steph to come back and play. Like that's where you want it. You don't want it to be like 2-2 and Steph's like, okay, maybe I can kind of like.
I think he's a competitor too, but I think you'd argue that Steph doesn't want to have to be put in a position, and the Golden State doesn't want to have to be put in a position where like maybe we just have to give it a run. We just have to see, because if he injures it again,
he's out for the season.
He's like, yeah, and hamstrings are just weird, man.
Right.
They're just weird.
As we've learned with Royce Lewis, they're weird.
Yeah.
All right. Morning Sports Desk, powered by Pizza Ranch and FunZone Arcade in Wadena. Wolves win Game 3.
Yeah, Wolves in 5. I stand by that completely.
Wolves in 5. See you Monday.
Powered by Wadena's Pizza Ranch and FunZone Arcade. Follow the Morning Sports Desk on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. And watch every show on YouTube.